Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another YouTube video. In this one, I'm talking about why, in my humble opinion, running an agency or SMMA or delivering marketing services to businesses will never die. It will never die. And I'm going to make a very hard to argue against case for this in this video, so stick with me. I want you, by the end of this video, to really see why I feel so adamant about running this channel, helping more people start their own agencies and grow them, and why I personally myself run an agency, and why I think it puts me really on the front lines as an entrepreneur to be able to just move mountains for people and myself. So let's get into this video. I want to talk about why running an agency is the best business model to start or to focus on moving into the 20s of the 21st century. Let's get into it. So first of all, I want to address one really important thing, and that's that short-term profits aren't the only deciding factor amongst many factors that should guide you to deciding what business you should start. You're going to see a lot of people in the agency space, and myself included, even just to be honest with you, that flash, items or lifestyle things to help attract viewership, especially if they're an educator, right? Things like nice watches, nice apartments, whatever. These are all investments. They're helping me, people like me, and the people that you may see on YouTube or other platforms like me, use these things to get you to, come watch what they've got to say, right? So let me just start by saying, if you're running your agency solely to get these things, you will not be happy. I view all these things as results of trying to build in the style of business that I built. I would be happy with a $1,000 a month personal overhead. I honestly would be. It's just that it works really well. People seeing you with nice things, whatever. It's a good marketing tactic, right? So let me get that way out of the way at the start. That is a really important thing for people to understand. You should not run an agency if your goal is to get to $5,000, $6,000 a month profit, then blow all of it on a watch or something, or blow all of it on a really nice apartment or something like that. Just be really careful about these things. I know I might sound like a hypocrite here. As I'm speaking, it's like I'm saying the exact opposite advice that I've taken myself. But you got to understand the context of which I've done these things. I want to start there. Start there. It is not just about short-term profits. It's about long-term trajectory and seeing where the market's headed and seeing what's happening in the world right now. And in general, what is happening to the modern economy, what is happening to businesses, and what is happening to the world is we're realizing the power of digital marketing. This is obvious at this point. Honestly, this might be a revelation like 15 years ago, but right now, pretty much everybody gets it. Most business owners understand that the internet is the place to be and that you should be advertising. If you're not advertising, you're stupid. If you're not building a funnel, you're not building a process to attract clients or customers, what are you doing? Why haven't you done that yet? It's almost becoming a standard, at least for the people that I hang around. Maybe this isn't the case for you. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, but that's what I'm seeing. And because of that, more people like us who actually know how to do it are becoming needed. But let me talk on a even deeper level than this. That's the surface level. That's like, what's going on in the economy. That's, what people are buying. And that's not really where you want to hang out if you want to build something long-term. If you want to build something long-term, you need to hang out on a deeper level. What do humans actually want, and why is marketing even a thing? What is marketing, and what does it do for people? Well, in my eyes, the best definition of marketing that I've ever heard was the science or the art of turning a stranger into a paying customer. It's that process, that bridge that connects them from stranger to paying customer. What is that process? And people like agency owners, people like myself, we're really freaking good at the process of taking somebody from a stranger to a customer. If you gave us a business model, most of us would be able to figure out some creative way to turn strangers into customers profitably. And that's what a marketer does. That is what a marketer does. A marketer is not somebody who designs a billboard. A marketer is not somebody who just launches Facebook ads. A marketer is not just somebody who runs ads, has a YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. It's somebody who understands human psychology and understands the biases that humans operate with so that we can get them to do what we want. And that almost comes with a lot of power. That comes with a lot of, you need to be very responsible. You can't be selling things that aren't ethical, don't work, you can't keep, if you can't keep your integrity with that, that is on you. One of the programs I was in, I paid about $10,000 at some point to be in a mastermind. And this is what they talked about the whole time. They talked about human psychological principles that allow people to sell at scale and at will. And they referenced a 1930s training on sales. And you realize that in almost 90 years later, almost nothing has changed. It's, different biases like, scarcity and urgency. It's things like, building rapport and trust quickly. It's how to get them to feel like it's their decision, how to make them the hero of the journey. You see these things almost with most of these big internet marketers. Let me just use, like, for example, one of the big infopreneurs of our time is Tony Robbins. I don't personally follow him. I like his stuff, but I'm not super attuned to him, so if I get anything wrong, just say. But you'll notice that, though you think Tony Robbins, the next thing you think is millions of people have been helped, or like the billions he gives away, or hundreds of millions, I'm not sure, he gives away to feed people. And there's these stories that you attach to that, right? Or maybe, for example, you can look at, I'm not going to think of another example. I'm going to stick on the Tony Robbins thing because it makes a lot of sense right now. You think of all the people he's helped, and you think of all the people who have gone from a certain place, a certain point A to a certain point B. And you hear this concept talked about a lot in a book that I really love called Story Brand by Donald Miller, where he talks about making your customer the hero of their own journey, and you're selling them the next steps in that journey. And Tony Robbins and his business model is an exact model of that. That's exactly what they do. They make the customer the journey. They make the client the journey. Or they make the customer's journey what they're buying. They're not buying a seminar. They're not buying a course. They're buying a journey. And you see this even with myself, with other educators, and it's just reasonable. If it's worth that amount of money to you, I'm going to charge you that. And it's the same thing that I do with my agency as well. We don't sell services, we sell outcomes. And you learn this in our program as well, how to sell outcomes instead of just selling a service list, right? And that allows you to charge 10 times what your competitors charge for the exact same service while having happier clients. It's a really beautiful thing, actually. And so marketers, what we're good at is that beginning stranger process to that customer process. It's that process. And so in my opinion, this process right here will never not be needed by humanity. As long as there's money around, there's people who want to make money. There's people with services and products to sell. They've got ideas, but they don't have people to sell those ideas. That's where we come in. We're people that help people build processes to sell their ideas or products or services, and that will never go away. So running an agency, to be honest, is probably one of the smartest decisions you can make in the context of where we're headed as a culture and where we are right now. Not just where we're headed, not 5 years from now, right now. Starting an agency, you shouldn't even be sitting on this opportunity, because if you can master these things, if you can get even just decently good at running Facebook ads and turning leads into customers, even just breaking even in the process, you are now, in my opinion, in the top 1% of like net worth individuals on the planet, because you can immediately change lives, change business owners. Even if that money isn't in your pocket right now, as long as you're pushing that service, it will be. It will be, dude, all right? So you gotta understand, it's super crucial that you don't just look at the surface level. Oh, we're running Facebook ads. Oh, we're running YouTube ads. We're building funnels. Oh, okay. That's what most people are gonna do. Most people, when they're just learning, they're looking for ways to identify what the secret is, or identify what the thing is that they need to learn still before they can make a lot of money or whatever it is. At the end of the day, you are no different than the people you're selling to. The people that are buying your thing are no different than you. We all have biases. We all have certain ways that we think and certain decisions that we make and ways that we make those decisions. And marketers encourage people subtly to make the decision that the business owner or the marketer wants them to make. So the ability to attract people and sell them on something, never going away. And honestly, that's my case. Like I don't want to do like word vomit. That's my case. That's why running an agency, I don't think will ever go away. It's why, my clients are willing to pay me $10,000 up front, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. It's why, the students in our community get paid similar amounts as well. It's why, even other educators that you see in this space, people who are selling their own program or their own education, their students are succeeding and they're succeeding. And it's because it's such a crucial thing. Once you can get on the other side of understanding that process, you immediately become just this incredible asset. In worst case scenario, you stick with that for 5-10 years and you build your reputation as an integrity-based marketer. Like, dude, there's so much money there, it is stupid. And that's my plan. Like, at the end of the day, I know that my skill, as much as right now I may be selling a program and services or whatever, I know that my skill is attracting people and selling them on things. That's my skill. I can help other people do it, and I do it myself. And that is a beautiful skill to have because so many business owners need it. So whether you run Facebook ads, YouTube ads, build funnels, you help people with their brand, you help people with Instagram, Facebook groups, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, whatever it is that you do, at the end of the day, you are doing the same thing everybody else is doing, which is turning strangers into customers. And you got to understand it on a very simple level. I said something very similar to this on my Instagram, by the way, which I think, Keely, I'd love if you would put the @ down here, @ Trey Cockrum. And I said I like applying very simple, minimal principles to otherwise very complex scenarios, like running a business or like an agency. Instead of thinking about an agency as all of these moving parts and all these crazy things going on, at the end of the day, what you're helping business owners do is turn strangers into customers for them. That's what you're doing. Everybody you're working with, as an agency owner, that is exactly what you're doing. You're helping turn strangers into customers for their business. And it's really that simple, and it's not much more complex than that. And the more complex you make it, the further away you get from the point. Turn strangers into customers profitably. Turn strangers into customers profitably. That is a beautiful skill to have, and that skill is going to make you a lot of money. And to be able to simplify it like that, turn strangers into customers profitably, allows you to think clearly. Because there's a lot of moving parts. A lot of people go down all of these rabbit holes, man. They buy $10,000 Facebook ad courses thinking that that's going to help them get clients. My whole thing is be good enough at this process, which we talk about, strangers into clients profitably, that you can sell that service and then fill the freaking phones. Just fill the phones. Just get on the phone, talk to people, use our script, go nuts, right? I have like an average day for me is at least $3,000 profit right now. I just hit the phones. I just go nuts, right? And you got to understand that once you have that service and you're filling your calendar, there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you. It really is just like this crazy feeling that I have and a lot of these people have who are doing well in this, where it's like, what is the limit here? Like, it really honestly sometimes feels like there's no limit. I've got people that I personally know that make $400,000 a month, pretty much doing exactly what I do, just at scale, right? And it's insane. It's honestly insane. And I'm going to go on a whole rant here. Hopefully this video is still. You can honestly stop watching this video. It's going to start to just become Trey Cockrum talks about nothing for 5 minutes. But yeah, it's crazy because at the end of the day, again, strangers into customers profitably. That process, where does that process end? And it really doesn't. It really doesn't. And as much as I think marketers would like to think that, is another thing too. As much as marketers would like to think that their skill applies to every business, at the end of the day, the product or the service matters more than anything. So it's not like we can sell people on crap, but we are really good at taking services or products that are actually good and pushing them further. And everybody needs that. Everybody at some point needs that. There's even marketing chains for people looking for jobs. Right? I say everybody needs it. You might be, oh, what about people who just need a job? They don't need it. Well, actually, they do. There's people out there. I forget what they're called, but they're like hiring agencies or something like that. They help you find a job, and they will put your resume out there, make it look way cleaner, make you look more professional, put your resume out in the right places. All these 400,000 little mini job websites, and get you a job. And they'll take 20% of your first year's salary. It's very similar to what we do. It's like a ROAS deal with an e-commerce store, or like a return on investment, like with an info product client, or like a real estate client, or whatever it is. It's the same thing. Everybody needs that process. Everybody needs that process. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. That is why running an agency will never die, because we're doing something that pretty much everybody needs, turning strangers into customers profitably. And if you get good at this process right here, there's literally nothing stopping you from just dominating, just going nuts. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Schedule a call down below. Let's talk about the 6-figure marketing consultant program. Get you to that $10,000, $20,000 a month profit range with your agency. Have a great one. See ya.